All right, well, here we go. I just got permission to walk into one of the sweetest little spots. It's about a 30-acre brush field, and what it is it's surrounded by a ton of conservation, parks, huntable ground. I hunt some stuff relatively close here, and what it is it's just this hub. All the deer tend to congregate in here in the winter months, and then they go in a bunch of different directions looking for food. They've got a bunch of varieties all the way around the property. This is a no hunting property, and the gentleman only lets me walk in here like once a year. He's just like, hurry up, do your thing, and then get out, which I'm fine with. He's cool. He's getting to know me. This is like year 3. This is actually the spot where I found 2 sides to the big giant drop tine buck that I was chasing for a couple years. This is a killer spot. So anyway, I just got here. I'm gonna start walking around. It looks like there's a good amount of signs from what I've seen so far. There's a good amount of buck sign, and I have a feeling some of the deer that I hunt on the other side of the road could wind up in here. I'm kind of chasing some younger deer, a lot of 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds. I've got a really nice 10-pointer. Then there's also a couple like young up-and-coming 8-pointers that should be targets next year. Hopefully they shed. Hopefully they're in here. Like I said, from what I've gathered so far, there's a lot of deer sign in here, and with absolutely 0 human pressure, deer can yard up in spots like this. So I'm excited. Let's get going. Now these conditions are just absolutely awesome. Right after that snow melt, everything's really matted down. We've had snow cover for about 20 plus days, and it's like the forest floor is just like carpet, so anything sticking up should be relatively easy to find. And it's looking like there's a good amount of deer sign in here. It's kind of hard to tell if it's super fresh or not, but it's here. All right, so when it comes to looking for good whitetail habitat, and especially during shed season, this is about as good as it gets. We've got cedars, we've got switchgrass, we've got multiflora rose thickets, and then there's a bunch of willows out here. These little willows, they absolutely love to browse on. Got a lot of yellow grass, which provides a lot of that thermal cover right here. I got a huge bed. This is just like almost a little south-facing plot. Got a little high ground in here. And we've got some low ground. They can get out of the wind. But these willows are absolutely awesome. So they've got every single little tip. Every one is browsed off. When it gets really cold, they love willows. Here's a big bed right here. Big bed. You can see they just stand up and they're eating the tips off of all the new growth. They absolutely love this stuff. Head high, they're eating all of it. They absolutely love this stuff. There's a lot of really good bedding in here. There's gotta be sheds in here. Let's keep going. Where are you, sheds? The buck sign is definitely here. There's another big bed right here. Beds all over. It's actually right off. There is a mowed path over there, so they're far enough in this little thicket where he can come by on his tractor. They don't even flinch. They just hang tight and put their head down. Boom, got a side. One little cedar draw right here. There's a bunch of cedars, little line, yellow grass. I was looking at this bed right here, and then bam, got a side right there. Nice little 4-point. Heck yeah. And I know who this is. This is the deer that I had running by me when I was in my little ground blind across the street. This is for sure him. You can clearly tell his other side's actually got a broken brow. Now, it was late in the season and I was kind of running out of time. I hunted this spot across the road like crazy the last 4 days of the season. Now I was just about ready to shoot anything, and I almost shot this deer when he came running up, but then I saw he was all broken. I'm like, yeah, I might wait. If it's the same deer, I think it's the same deer. Same with that other 10-pointer. I was like, I'm gonna shoot him. Well, I'm glad I didn't, because now I have his sheds, and he's only gonna be bigger and better next year. But it's kind of cool that these two obviously are running together. They jumped across the road. I was spending a bunch of time over there trying to find them, and sure enough, either I pushed them or they just happened to roll over into this little spot. When it gets really cold, these deer move into good cover, cedar thickets, and yellow grass. They don't necessarily even need the big ag fields anymore. They'll browse all day in and around in this stuff. And the proof is here. They were definitely here, shed their horns when it got really cold, and hopefully they're already growing for next year. But we're gonna take one kind of final pass through here. There's not a lot left to do. See if anything else was running with them, but Tweedledee and Tweedledum running together, both shed their horns together in the same little, it may even be 15 acre piece of property. Heck yeah. All right, let's bury ourselves through the thick stuff. One last pass through here, and then we're gonna go and get to another property. All right, well, off on another wild and crazy adventure. So I've been watching a bunch of these big bucks in the summer, kind of in a weird spot. It's basically a bunch of tree lines, a bunch of huge ag fields, and really secluded. There's not a lot around. Probably a 1,000-acre piece, and I've been door knocking for the last, I'd say 10 days straight at the same piece of property. And this morning I finally got permission. The guy's like, yeah, go ahead, no problem, walk around. If you find one or two, let me have one. So I said, hey, no problem. So I started walking these tree lines. I just run the herd of deer out. There's like 4 shed bucks in this group. 3 still holding, not very big, but I've seen a huge buck out here, and one of them's got a big drop tine. And anyway, long story short, I was glassing all the way across the field, and I walked by a giant 5-point side. So I probably saw it from 400 yards out. I'm gonna turn around, go over there and pick it up. And it is a monster. Boone and Crockett, potentially. This could be a booner. It's a huge 5-point. Absolutely. Not quite booner, but he's big, and I think this is the buck with the drop tine. He's got a big flyer on the other side, but this is probably a 70+ inch side. Heck yeah, we're on the board. What an awesome deer. Absolutely awesome. Saw it from a mile away. That's where you always got to use your binoculars. Let's keep going. All right, well, the search continues for my match, and what I did was I was basically heading down the line. I pretty much had exhausted that piece of property, and I just basically went to the neighbor and said, hey, is there any way I could look on your property? And they said, sure. We've got 160 acres basically on both sides of the road, and I know the deer like to spend some time in this area. They cross back and forth. I've seen a lot of road hits here in the past. And she said, look out my pasture. I've got a bunch of antlers that I find every year out there. So my eyes obviously lit up. I came out here, I'm searching this old abandoned pasture, and I look, and I got a monster side. Actually, it looks like a really good one. Right in their field, right in line with where the public land starts. And there's a ton of shed hunters over there. So what happens is a lot of these deer get pushed out of that main preserve into this little teeny square, and then they go across the road where there's a bunch of food, and we've got beans everywhere. over there, but this is actually about where I was standing when I saw it, so check this out. This is super cool. All the way over there, right in the field. Oh boy, I think I got another one. All right, I just found another antler in this field. Let me show you what this looks like from here, and then we're gonna jump over there and go get it. This is awesome, heck yeah. I'm actually just sitting here so nervous that somebody from the public land isn't gonna come over. It's literally right on the fence to the public. It's 50 yards, and I think it's a match set, so this isn't my my match, I don't believe, but it's a good one. It's a match set, and it looks big. What's crazy is originally I walked that line because there's some arborvitae in there, some huge rubs, and I was like south facing, and I looked in this field, and honestly I never saw anything, but we got what I believe to be a match set. Pretty good one. Check this out. Oh yes, awesome. So what I remember I was saying earlier about the deer with the drop tine, I was actually questioning myself. This is the drop tine buck. He's a little bit smaller obviously, but he runs with that big 10-pointer. Heck yeah. Talk about an awesome 3-year-old stud that's going to be a mega with a really cool looking drop tine. How awesome is that? Heck yeah, the drop tine buck right here. And yeah, this other side has got to be him. Although, I don't know, I thought he was I started thinking about it, I thought this deer was an 8. Oh, we got another side right here. Nope, never mind. Here's his match. Oh. Well, I think it's a match. Yeah, it's a match. There he is. So this is what threw me off. I thought the drop tine buck, the side that I found earlier today, I knew he had a 5 on one side, and I wasn't sure about the actual drop tine side. And if you look, this is actually relatively similar to the buck I found earlier today. So I was just kind of confused, mismatched a little bit, but sure enough, there he is, the drop tine buck. Oh, so cool. Well, we're gonna keep going. This is awesome because I know all these deer run together, and I saw that herd earlier today across the street. So we've got basically 2 of the bigger ones that we were after. Heck yeah, this is awesome. And it actually, these really just dropped. One of the other things I'm always looking for is evergreens, especially arborvitae. Technically they're supposed to be toxic for deer, but when it gets to be really, really cold, January, February, they are no longer toxic and the deer love to eat them. And my first pass through here, I was basically staring underneath these. You can see how they're all browsed up, head high. Deer probably stand on 2 legs just to get up there. And probably 10 years ago I found a match set right underneath here, but check out this rub. This rub's really cool too. All right, so here he is in all his glory. This is basically the buck that caught my eye over here in this area. I've been coming out to this property for, quite a few years, and then I kind of gave up on it, just kind of focused on deer that I was actually hunting. But when I saw that drop tine, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna spend some time over there. And sure enough, like I was saying earlier, the deer that I found this morning looks a lot like this, and I just was confused. I thought the drop tine buck was a little bit bigger. When I saw them, they were actually running together, this buck and that other big 10. I guess I should have recognized that there were 2 of them that look a lot alike, but how cool is that drop tine? That's very unique. I love the curl on it. I can't believe it's not broken. And you know, he's a young deer. He's probably just a super 2-year-old or 3-year-old. It's hard to tell. The other buck is obviously older. He's got a lot more mass on him, but what's interesting is they have a lot of the same characteristics. He's got a little double point here on this base, which is cool. Look at that pedicle, how wild that is. It's almost like a whole nother antler has grown out of there. I can't believe that didn't break off. But you know, the other buck has got some inner points, and then he had a little kicker between the G2 and the G3. But you know, this is probably a 140-inch deer. The other one is probably a 160-inch deer. So I'm not going to venture too much further into that public piece of property. I know a lot of guys hit that, and I was actually just right on the edge, and I just got nailed by a trail camera. So there's guys all over in there. This is private. This is private. And then, like I said, I got permission to go across the road. And gosh, you know what? The more I look at this, the less I think it's a match. You know what? This is not a match set. This is not a match set. Now, what I could tell, I mean, they look like it could easily be a match set, but the tine length's taller. And if you look really close here on the bases, this is actually much different than this. This is a lot thicker on this side. It's just a completely different style of antler. Boy, they could pass for a match. It's not a match. Okay, it's not a match. This is not a match. Well, I guess I should spend some more time over here, but okay, so it's not a match. Took me a while, but that's what happens. All right, so we're gonna get out of here. We're gonna get packed up. We're gonna run across the road because I actually think there's more antlers over there than there are here, and there's bigger ones over there. All that human pressure over there on that other side basically pushes those deer into these small areas, and then across the street is where they have the real food. So let's pack up and head over there, and then maybe what we'll do is we'll come back here and I'll go look for those matches. But this is a huge area. This is thousands of acres. Not a match. Anyway, looks like a match. Could be a match. That's a good thing though. There's 2 more antlers out here. All right, let's roll.